Hello everyone, welcome back. We are now up to lesson 4, How Time Flies. So at this point we have already created 3 different working Java programs, or maybe in this case we created 2 working programs because lesson 2 and 3 we used the same Java program. So for this lesson, the next lesson, what we're gonna learn, and there's a lot of noise outside, so I'm just gonna wait for it to pass. Um, we're just gonna learn how to read the user's input. It's getting more and more interesting now. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new Java class. Right click on the package, go to New Class, and I'm creating it in this package, simple Java coding, and I'm just gonna name it users read user input. I'm gonna create a main method and finish. Okay, so to read the user input, we have to have a scanner. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have to define a scanner. Scanner sc equals to new scanner. And I'm gonna read the input from the console. So I'm gonna put system.in. Always remember the semicolon at the end. And here we have some error. Let's see what it says. It's not really an error. It just says in order for you to use this scanner type, you need to import the scanner from Java utility. So just click import here, and you see it Eclipse automatically insert the import for you. We have another warning here, and all it says is that the value of the local variable is not being used. So we know that we're planning to use it. So this one, defining the scanner sc, and it's gonna read the input from the screen. Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna need to define a variable. So let's say I define a string variable, user input equals to, and usually in Java they like to use camel case, so let's do that. It makes it easier to read user input equals to my scanner sc dot, and now I have all these methods that I can use. So say if I say dot next, I believe that should give me a string. And then I'm just gonna output it. To output, you just do sys out, press Control spacebar, and then you don't have to type all that in. And I'm gonna output my string here, user input variables, the value inside that variable, which is user input. Okay, there's my program. Let's see if it runs. I'm gonna save. I don't like this here. There's still an error. Okay, there's a resource leak. That's because we never close it. So if you want, you can come down here and you say sc dot close. And look at that, Eclipse is so smart that as soon as I put the dot in, it gives me the close right here at the top. All I have to do is select that, and now the warning is gone. I'm gonna save it and run it. And something is holding up my system. I'm still waiting for it to run. Let me try and run it again. Run. What's going on? I get no output. Looking for my console. There's nothing. So it didn't print anything. Oh, I know what it is, because I never inputted anything. So when I run, so before we run, we're missing one step. We should prompt the user to enter some data, because we never prompt the user to enter data. So the console is blank, but actually it's waiting for me to enter data. Say if now I enter my data, this is my data. I hit enter, and now you see, as soon as I enter the data, I hit enter, and I get the output. So the user input is this, which means user, the scanner variable, the scanner dot next is returning the first word in a string. As you can see from the console, my first word is this, and it's returning that, right? If I make some changes here to make this a little bit better, I should do a sysout here, and I'm gonna prompt the user to enter a string, or maybe a sentence. Please enter a short sentence. So now it's going to prompt the user to enter the first sentence, and we're going to print out the string. Let's try that. We're going to print out the output, the string output, right? I'm going to save. I'm going to run it. So now we know that we need to enter something. Before we didn't know, because the screen was all blank. So now this is much better. So now the user knows what they need to do. Please enter a short sentence. So I'm gonna enter, this is my sentence. Now watch, as soon as I hit enter, the program runs. It reads in my input, and it prints out, it puts the first word into the user output. My first word is this. So user input, the variable user input is equal to this. Now what happens if I do the same thing again? Now to copy that line to the next line, all I do is Control Alt and then down arrow. But this time I cannot, I just don't want to redeclare this variable. So I'm just going to use the variable and not declaring it again. And let's see what would happen, but I need to move this one down to here. I'm going to move this one up here, and then I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it here. So basically what I did was, we had this part before. I'm assigning the next word in the string, well, the next word in the sentence, to the same variable again, and then I print that variable again. I'm gonna run it. Please enter a short sentence. This is my sentence. I hit enter. So the first word in this sentence is this. The second word is. So this is how you read the sentence, the input word by word. Now if you want to read the input, instead of word by word, you want to read the whole sentence, right? So what I need to do in that case is I need to say please enter another short sentence, and then I need to read that but I need to change this variable name to something else. So the first one was user input. This is user sentence. And I'm gonna get rid of this. So instead of sc.next, I'm gonna do sc.next line. And I'm gonna need to print this out. So this is user sentence. It's equal to user sentence. Okay, let's give that a try. I'm gonna run it. Please enter a short sentence. This is my sentence. I hit enter. So the first word in that sentence is this. Second word is. Please enter another short sentence. You know why? Because I haven't used up all my input here. So it doesn't need me to enter another sentence. And it reads my input from up there and it stores them into here. So basically what happened is when you do a next line, it's gonna read in everything until the end of line. So sc.next, it only reads one word at a time, but sc.nextLine, it reads in everything until the end of the line. So that's why you get two words in this string, and up here you only get one word in each time it reads. Now let's try something else. Actually, let's try one more thing. So after I do this, that means that this line here, it has picked up all the input, everything until the end of the line. So what would happen if I try and read it again? So actually what we need to do is we need to move this down here. Again, so this line, it actually picked up all the input from the user already, and then it output it here, and here we're gonna try and read it again. We're gonna try and read it again. So I expect there's no more data for it to read, so that's why I have to move this prompt down here so that it can prompt the user to enter another line of text. Okay, we're gonna run this. Please enter a short sentence. This is my sentence. So it reads the first word, output it, second word, output it, and then it reads everything till the end of the line, it output that, and then there's no more data. So it's waiting for the user to enter more data. That's why I put in the prompt here, please enter another short sentence. So now we know that the system is waiting for us to enter more data. Here is more data. I hit enter, and I expect the next output to have this whole string, this whole sentence in it. Let's try that. I hit enter, and it didn't output anything. That's very interesting. So let's go back and see what's going on. Please enter another short sentence. User sentence is equal to sc.nextLine. So why didn't it? Oh, I see why. Because we prompted the user to enter the data, and we read the data, we store it into here, but we never print it out. So that's why the screen was blank. There's nothing printing because we never printed it. So what do we need to do? We need to add one more print to the console. So I'm gonna print out user sentence again, and it's gonna be this, the value of this variable right here. Okay, I hope this worked. Keeping my fingers crossed. I'm gonna run it. Again, this is my sentence. Hit enter. You get the first word, the second word, and you get everything remaining in that sentence. We're out of data. It asks us to enter more data. So I'm gonna enter more data here. what did I say before? Here is more data. I hit enter, and there it is. It reads the whole line here, and it puts that whole line into this one variable, string variable. And then before we didn't get the output because we never printed it. Now we added the print line, and it's printing right here. So that's how you read in the text, the character strings. You can either read one word at a time, or you can read the whole sentence. What else we have? We can also read in integer. So for example, after we do that, I'm gonna say please. So let me just copy this down. I'm gonna say please enter two integers. And then I'm gonna have to read them in. So here's my first integer. It's gonna be int I equals 2, and you see there's an error here. Let's see what the error says. Type mismatch, because next line is gonna return a string, and I'm putting a string into an integer. That's a no-no, so I cannot do that. I would have to do next int. So that's my first integer. I'm gonna need one more. Int j equals next int, because I'm asking the user to enter two integers. Now after I read them in, I'm gonna need to output them. So I'm gonna bring this down, and let's make it interesting. I'm gonna do I times j equals, so this is the literal I times j, and here's my actual calculation, I multiplied by j. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read in those two integers, and I'm gonna multiply them. I'm gonna output them to the screen, to the console. Run it. Again, this is my sentence, and I get the first word, the second word, and everything in the sentence. I'm gonna enter the next sentence. Here's, whoa, I have the code in there. I'm not sure if that's gonna work, the single code, but let's see. Here's my data. Here's more data. I hit enter, and look at that, it even took in the single code. That's amazing. Okay, that's good to know. So now it's asking me for, please enter two integers. So I'm gonna do 3 and 4. So those are my two integers. I'm gonna hit enter, and I times j is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. So the answer is correct. So anyway, that's our lesson for today. the fourth lesson. It is to learn how to read in data, input data from the user. So it's interactive data that the user input into the console. You just need to prompt the user so they know what they need to enter. And then the program reads in the user's input, and you can process the user's input, and then you output it back to the console, back to the screen. That's our lesson for today. Thank you, everyone.